Thanks for joining us. This is session three of Godkiller by Connie Chang. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. I am running these sessions. Let's get a quick intro from our player and the Godkiller herself, and then maybe we'll do a cutscene to see what happens after a creepy visit to the way home.
Okay. So, yes, I am Madeline Colley, Mads for short, she, they pronouns, playing Wal, also she, they pronouns, the god killer in this particular adventure. And yeah, I mean, Wal is in Newbridge, um, and then wandered into a temple of one of these gods here. And the god was being very cryptic about uh, what they were or should do, basically. And it's like, yeah, kind of like held Wall and Stacy, like, but that, like, kind of with a stricken look on their face when last we left, because they didn't understand why the way home was saying it's, you know, slay, slay gods. Or like, only a god can kill another god. And as far as Wall is concerned, far, far, far from a god as possible for herself. So,
Yeah. So, what do we think we see Wall do with this revelation? Is this something you take some time to sink in, or kind of almost flee in the face of it? How do you react?
does the priest do anything weird, like, kind of insisting that she stay?
I don't think so. I think the Linus, the priest, is probably when you approach the altar, goes off to do other things.
Mm.
So maybe there's like a creepy shot if you're leaving of them just standing at one of these alcoves and looking at you, you know, uh, mysteriously. But I don't think they're gonna stop you
Okay.
or maintain that you should stay.
Okay. Yeah, I think as Wall backs out and, hurries out of the temple, I think, they'll see Linus and then just kind of give like this weird, um, annoyed glare at them, and then just not say anything, but just shake their head and then just leave, um, because it was a lot to take in. I mean, you know, not only, I guess, facing the way home, but also just being like, I don't know what to make of what they enigmatically said. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense right now to Wall in the least. No.
Mm. So, yeah, I think if you walk out, I think like the focus of this town is based on the name, the bridge, right? This is almost what gives the town all of its power, right? It's at this really important crossing point for all the trade, travelers, and so on in this realm. And it's almost like every path, every road leads there, regardless of where you think you're heading. So you get this, I think first you hear the roar of water. Um, and when you get to the waterfront, you can see across the way there's this kind of matching half of the town, kind of these great big terraces made of wood, just built on the cliff edge on the other side, and that matches where you are right now. And you can see one half of the bridge going across this incredibly still water, and then it goes to this keep on this buttress of rock coming out of the water. And then you can kind of see beyond that this chasm, It's like, and you can see the spray coming out of it. It's like there's a waterfall just there on the other side of um, on the other half of the bridge. And this entire river is just disappearing down this sinkhole. And you can see maybe in the distance, this sinkhole just keeps going. It's like a literal chasm going through the town. And that's the roar of the water just falling over it.
Does it look like this place, this town has anything, I don't know, resembling a library or anything like that? Oh, and did we establish like at what point Wall got here on foot? Because yeah, the other can't remember her name. I think it was Miriam, like, kind of like, I think you keep going,
Yeah,
Didn't want to.
I mean, you've spent a little bit of time in town, but I think you're still ahead of that oxen cart.
Right.
So I think we had said dusk when you arrived,
Right. Okay.
or maybe a little bit before dusk. So I think it's nightfall now. And I think maybe you can see there's lights on the bridge, some kind
Hmm.
of lanterns just hanging off it, like swaying in the breeze, or maybe with the a swaying and the upsurge of steam coming from and water spray from below. And I guess there's like rainbows or something really, really odd in the darkness. Um, these rainbows just coming out of nowhere, out of that chasm.
Definitely a curiosity for sure. And Wall wants to find out more about it, but I think maybe maybe stores are low. Maybe she'll wander over to what looks like one of the taverns to see if she can, I don't know, earn her keep at least for a night's room and board until she can figure out what to do.
Mhm.
I would imagine that there's something big nearby, near the bridge where everyone comes to. So, I mean, you know, at least heading over to the tavern might be a good idea at least this point to be around people and get some information.
Um, so yeah, I think there is a tavern almost at the foot of the bridge, like maybe the last point you stop before you cross over. Maybe it's called something kind of quirky like the Broken Lantern or something like that. I think in kind of classic fashion, it's not really um, it's not really a written sign. It's maybe just a sign of a broken lantern.
Right.
Um, and yeah, it's full of people. It seems like definitely a spot. There's like gambling, there's drinking, there's food here. There's a lot going on. Um, what do you think it is here? You can maybe smell something of desperation from the patrons here. How else do you see that made evident?
Strangely enough, it's almost like the quickness of their actions or the recklessness, right? So those that are eating and drinking, maybe it's they're kind of like making these toasts of not until next time, but of you know goodbyes or something. I don't know, something that just kind of gives this sense of urgency. And so they're buying up and drinking up as fast as they can. Maybe they're eating a little bit too quickly, or at least that Wall has ever seen. And then for the gambling, maybe just hearing these bets of well, you only live once. Maybe that's even what somebody says. And so, some of the bets that are given are just kind of like eye-poppingly large.
Hmm.
And she will make her way maybe to the counter of the tavern and just be very curious about it. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think um, the bartender, um, this old lady, yeah, doesn't. I mean, she is busy,
Mhm.
very busy, um, but looks over at you as if to ask what your order is. I'm not sure how do you think you can convince her to take a minute out of her time to answer your questions?
Mm. I think. Act impulsively because it's like, this woman's like no nonsense, no, not gonna wait. So I think maybe, she just immediately blurts out like, I need a job.
Um, okay, I guess that would do it. Uh, yeah, and I think her name is Ethel, and she takes one look at you and maybe grabs your hands, one or both of them, and takes a look. What do you think she sees that convinces her that you will be able to stand the pressure here?
I mean, I think there's calluses from the constant scribing. I think there's um, there's ink stains and such, but I mean, there's also um, some uh, strength to her arms because the books that she's been tasked with scribing are usually pretty big and thick, and so like transporting them from one place to another. And yeah, I mean, you know, she's not small. I mean, like she's short, but she's stocky. Like she's got a little beef to her. um, so maybe she sees that it's like, like I'm not just like, a soft townie or anything like that. I'm willing to work. Um, and I'm probably very dusty and dirty from the road. So it's like I'm new here, just need a job, something that'll get me some food or, board for the night, whatever. So,
Yeah, so um, I think she puts your hands on the countertop, gives them I mean, not gentle, but not too rough slap. Reaches under the counter, pulls out an apron or or some kind of dish rag or something that is your mark of office, and uh, puts it in your hands and says, "You're hired." And gives you the rate a shift, like 2 shillings, 2 shillings a day, and um, and then points. No, it doesn't even point. Says table 5 is waiting for a drink.
okay. And then, I mean, like, she's just gonna rush. She's just gonna like throw that apron on just as she's like, moving away from the counter, and then like, hopefully she can figure out where table 5 is here, and then just like, get their order, or if she slaps down the drinks, then bring the drink
Yeah,
order
yeah.
over. Yep.
Um,
She's not
I mean,
questioning it. She's just gonna do it.
yeah. I mean, I think. Does this sound like acting impulsively to you?
I don't. Well, I mean, like it's the first thing that came to her
Yeah,
mind because
yeah,
she
yeah,
didn't want to take any time risking that she's going to be ignored.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's not like she was taking the time to feel someone out or like trying to connect. I mean, like,
Mhm.
this woman was not going to wait and hear her life story.
Yeah,
Absolutely
yeah,
not.
yeah.
I think maybe she's also used to that because maybe one of the head scribes or whatever is exactly like that. So she's used to that kind of behavior. It's like, nope, just do it. You get a task, do it.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, give me some trouble. I mean,
yeah. So when you act impulsively, describe the emotion that drives you and
mm,
answer one. I'll tell you something you didn't notice until now as you answer the other. Um, as
I
I
mean,
answered the other.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. So I mean, like again, she responds with some, oh, not urgency. It's just she's determined to earn her keep now, and then ask questions later when there's more time. But right now, there's no time. You know,
hmm.
so.
um, so what do you think? Which of those two questions are you most interested in answering yourself?
Um, I think the trouble that hits me hard and fast, like, just grabbing the aprons, like, getting the dish rag or whatever, and then bringing maybe, like, if she slaps down a tray of drinks, is that she doesn't know where table five is because, she was just going to do it. And, I think she will slap down the tray at the wrong table, and then, like, whomever it is that did that order gets really pissed off. Like, maybe it's a fat cat, or like a big burly guy that's just like,
Hmm.
what, you know but very offended that she brought the drinks to the wrong place. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's something like you put the tray down, like it's five tankards of ale,
Yeah.
and the couple there look like confused, right? Like this isn't our order, and you hear someone right behind you complain. Um, and I think you recognize, so the advantage, right, is that you're going to recognize them before they see you. So you have some opportunity to maybe put your cloth to measure or do something else here. You
Okay.
recognize the accent as one of those raiders from the village. And when you turn
Ooh.
around, like out of the corner of your eye, maybe you kind of lean forward so they can't see you, and you
Hmm.
you like recognize that armor, right? Um,
Oh God.
uh, the 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 wolf. What did we call them? The
Whether the wolf's head or the wolf's skull or something.
yeah, the wolf's head. That was what we were. Yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
called it. The wolf's head.
Right. Oh no.
Um, and they're like looking at the bar and
Hmm.
like, you know, one of them is like knocking an empty tankard against the table like an asshole because that they are.
Yeah.
Um, so I think you have maybe you can approach them from behind, put
Hmm.
the tray down there without getting recognized or without tipping your hand that you recognize them.
Yeah. Okay. So I would imagine, uh, maybe they're stomping and saying it's like those, they're like our drinks or whatever, and then like immediately she does an about face, and then we'll just kind of like shove the tankards like onto their table. I guess it would be do as you're told. It's the closest thing I can think of, for right now. Because I mean, I can't imagine like trying to do any kind of divine or crucible moves here.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
um,
I mean, you if you wanted to, right? You have this ability from Little Slaughter to inflict gibbering
okay,
pain on them if you
that's
wanted
true.
to
Oh
go
man, but I mean,
go to
like,
a left.
can I tell like if it's like more than one? Like, is it all of them?
Yeah, I think it's like the table of four or five.
Oh,
who are all maybe those very same raiders. Uh,
oh, you
so
know
you
what? Yeah, so is it a power?
so yes, so if you are using that, it's wielding a power.
Right.
Um, so when you wield a power to do something that only a god can, uh, roll 2d6, add one for each true statement. You've done this specific act before perfectly. You're desperate for this to work, or you're close to a shrine, lair, or domain of the god you took this power from. Um,
Oh, you know what? I mean, like I think, well, definitely I can call for you're desperate for this to work, mark one strain, because I think it's an automatic like gut reaction of like I see this wolf's head, they, caused harm to this village. And so it's like, it's already like a kick in her gut. So I'm going to mark one strain. Let's see. And then, so that's true. I don't think I know if Little Slaughter's, anything of Little Slaughter's nearby. And I have not done this specific act before. Um, I think Yeah, I think it's a lashing out, right? I think, as this kick in the gut is happening upon seeing the wolf's head, it's like whatever light was surrounding Little Slaughter, maybe that's the film, the filter that she sees them, or, just kind of like focuses on their wolf's head. And through the wolf's head, she's going to direct this pain, like wishing the pain that Little Slaughter caused into anyone wearing this wolf's head um, symbol
okay.
into their armor. Yeah.
Yeah. Roll 2d6 and add one. And let's
Okay.
see.
Oh, starting off so good. 3 plus 2 plus 1 is a 6.
Okay. So on a 6 minus,
Yeah.
your power sputters and your enemy sees on your weakness. But if you want to suffer two strain instead, so that's like instead of the one that you've already spent,
Yeah.
uh, you can achieve the full effect before
Oh
they
yeah.
react.
I'm gonna take the 2 strain because why the fuck not? I'll find out how to absorb that stuff later.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Yeah.
Now, here I wonder, because it says full effect. So I'm kind of thinking, is this 10 plus? This
Ooh.
is you dig so
Uh.
deep that you pull out more than you thought you might.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Is that
Well, I mean,
I
if I
well, yeah, I'm wondering if do you think that is the way to read this?
full
Let me
effect. I mean, full effect before they can react. I mean, you can take it either way. I mean, like, depends on how much trouble you want to give me like right now, and that's fine. I mean, if I achieve the full effect and actually do it to just them, I
Okay,
know what to
sorry.
say.
Sorry.
Yeah, if
So
it
I'm just reading the full PDF instead of just the move. It says, on a miss you fail completely, you can always push yourself to achieve your intended effect.
okay,
You are
okay.
the God Killer after all. So I think, yeah, um,
Okay.
not
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 overkill.
overkill. You just do it.
Yeah, that would be some serious ass harm for sure.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, I
Uh,
think right. Again, the filter, the colored filter over Wall's eyes, and then just focusing this wishing of harm and pain, like thinking upon Little Slaughter, and then just kind of focusing on that wolf's head and wishing all of
mhm,
that into anyone wearing that wolf's head, like armor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any ideas on exactly how this manifests, or do you want me to go wild?
Oh, go wild. It'll be great. Because the intended effect is yeah, she's going to affect any of these raiders because,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
kind of like in Kill Bill, like, she sees the the people that she's after and it's like that siren goes off.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly so.
Uh, so yeah, I think yeah, I think you stare at them and it's like your eyes are, full of little slaughters buzzing hatred for
Hmm.
anything, showing any joy whatsoever, even if it's something that you hate, especially if it's something you hate. Um, and you kind of feel this just buzzing mass like pass out of you and into them. And I think maybe they have these like wolf's head cloaks or furs on them,
Hmm.
and you're not sure if this is really actually happening or is this just the kind of magic vision that you have now. Like
Hmm.
those wolf's heads on their cloaks come alive
Ooh.
and hair into them or snap at them or just wriggle free, and like they all scream in agony. They all like lurch up from the table, like the drinks that you gave them maybe just um, get spilled
Hmm.
already, and like some of them are just running, and other ones are like taking out knives and like stabbing at the wolf's head cloaks. They're all reacting slightly differently, but they're all like screaming in this agony.
Yeah, I think I cower behind one of the other table chairs just because it's like, like this just all of a sudden like, violence upon themselves or whatever is just like, just it kind of wakes her out of the buzzing dream, I guess. But like seeing them do this to themselves is just like kind of horrifying as well.
Yeah, and I think like when that veil kind of falls from your eyes, like you can see the wolf's head cloaks, are just cloaks again. They're just that fur, just that um just exactly what they were, mundane clothing. And maybe the guys who ran are fine, but obviously the guy who stabbed himself is
Hmm.
not. And like everyone in this place is kind of now looking at them. And I think, I mean, I don't think they were liked, right?
Mm-mm.
They're raiders, but
Yeah,
their money was good and they weren't causing any trouble. And
right,
now it's like Ethel is just kicking them out.
right.
Like she just barks at a bouncer to grab the two guys who are left and for them to grab their wounded friend. And
Yeah.
they just turf them out onto the street.
And I think this is where, Wall will immediately go with that dish rag and just try to sop up some blood, like, or whatever they spilled. I'll have
Yeah,
this.
I don't know. Is this kind of a place where there's flagstones and the blood is very apparent, or is it like a sawdust kind of place where maybe they're used to a little bit of trouble here?
Well, if anything spilled on the table, I mean, that's the thing that she's going to clear off, like, quickly, like, looking to just at least do a job, I mean, like, get it ready for somebody else to sit at or what have you. So she's at least doing that, and then just kind of giving like Ethel a very submissive look, or just kind of like like I'm doing it, I'm trying to clear this up, so people can sit here. So if anything spilled on the chairs or the benches or the table, then that's what she's going to clear. So
Yeah, and I mean, if you're looking guilty, she doesn't seem to notice. Like you jumped to do what needed to be done.
yeah. I don't know if she would look
I-
guilty. I mean, like, she doesn't even
yeah,
know what
yeah.
happened. She just knows what she felt and what she was thinking. And
Mhm.
then, like, and something happened, and they left, and they were all, stabby, bloody, or whatever. Just so long as they didn't stab her or anybody else. I mean, I guess it was fine. But yeah, she's glad that they're gone, and she can just concentrate on doing what she needs to do for this particular evening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think the rest of the shift is hard work. I'm not sure in the scriptorium whether you've been on your feet this long, uh, all day or whatever, but I think you're nothing that interesting happens again. I think maybe you spot a few familiar faces from the road, but
Hmm.
um, certainly by the time uh, the crowd starts to clear out, a couple of hours after midnight, you're done.
Yeah.
Um, um, where do you think you're gonna? Yeah, I think you said like board for the night would be an ideal arrangement. Maybe there's a good rate for staff here, so I think you can scrape together a few coins on top of that.
Okay. Yeah. So, um, yeah, she kind of like does this take over to Ethel, and says, I'll even sleep down here on one of the benches. I understand that if the rooms are only for the patrons, um, I just need a place to stay. I'm new in town.
Maybe um, there's a spot by the fire. There's some rugs, sheep pelts, sheepskin, not wolf,
Thank goodness.
to bed down. And yeah, I think it's cozy and comfortable. And maybe when you wake up, the fire is just about dead. There's still some embers in there, and the kind of uh, the noise of the town is just about picking back up. After a 4 or 5 hour brief respite. Um,
Yeah, I think I think you know, she'll at least set up the fire again if it looks like that's something that goes on during the day, especially if it's something that they cook over or have something going like all day. So if there looks like to be like a kettle on or something of porridge or something that people can just grab, um, quickly, then she'll get that fire started at least, and then she will see if there's anything to help also clear up or get set up for the rest of the day. Um, Given that it's a a tavern, it's like is this or like right by the bridge? Is this something that would be open? Like for the most part, like an all day.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there are travelers staying in those rooms upstairs, then they might be coming down for breakfast before they cross over. And then, there's unlikely to be like people arriving in town and looking for somewhere to stop. But that business probably starts about noon, right?
Right.
Um, so, uh, but yeah, I guess it's up to you whether you think you want to stay here and get a feel for the place, or you you're probably not expected to be on shift immediately, like doing a back to back. So you could
Right.
probably explore or do something like that if you wanted.
Yeah, I think yeah, maybe 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 Wal will check in with Ethel and then see if, you know, she can give a little bit more information about this place or see um, if they need any help on the more like relevant end of Wal's abilities. I mean, like, you know, for accounts or whatever, or knowing just to get information to get about the town, I guess,
Hmm.
before she decides
Yeah.
like if she's gonna leave or stay, like at least for a little while. Um,
Yeah. So, um, do you want to say you're feeling out the town
yeah,
itself? Like,
yeah,
um, and maybe that starts with like talking to Ethel about everyday things and goes into, something else
yeah,
or but you're kind of curious about the place, the town itself.
yeah,
Um, so and I think in that regard, you know, uh, the people who work here will probably answer some really mundane questions if you
right,
want. And that's probably not quite what the move cares about. So if you want to ask those details, we can kind of play through that scene.
sure,
And then maybe when there's something specific, you can say what you want clarity about, right?
okay, okay,
Um, so yeah, we can play out like a couple of short scenes, and then uh, you can kick in the move when it sounds right.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Um, so yeah, I guess Ethel, maybe. Yeah, I don't think she lives here. She lives like in a home in town, so she comes in um maybe an hour later. There's obviously other staff people here who are kind of taking care of the bed and breakfast portion of the business.
Hmm.
Um uh but yeah, they're pretty open when they realize that, oh yeah, you're the new hire.
Yeah, no, like she'll
Uh
just kind of like be very amenable and just like, you know, say like wherever you need me to help, I can do it.
yeah, I mean it's a simple business. I mean um people pay us and we give them a bed or breakfast or beer. But uh, I guess we buy supplies from the market or from merchants, and you know, I don't know what else we do that needs writing, but yeah, I don't know.
Is this a town where like most people come and go?
I mean, I'd say a good half of people here are moving through.
I mean, that's a very strange bridge. I mean, over still water, but then that chasm that goes on for almost forever.
Well, that chasm's new. That I mean the world split on this town years back. Uh, and I guess we built a bridge longer, right, to get to the other side.
Well, at
Uh,
least at least it's sturdy. It's strong, right?
yeah, yeah. So if you spend the night in the keep, you'll feel it rock. You know, it kind of seems to sway.
who or what lives in the keep?
I mean the bridge keeper, like the people who run this town, who make sure the bridge is safe.
When you say safe, you mean keep it maintained so it's you know not gonna fall, or you mean there's I don't know there's a need for guards or what have you to keep certain things out.
I mean both, right? I mean the bridge has got to be maintained. That's why they charge a toll. Uh, you know, cedar logs 100 feet long don't come cheap, and yeah, there's a lot of bad folk around who would you know like to control it themselves or wreak terror on travelers or whatever. So yeah, I guess it's a bit of both.
Hmm. Interesting. I mean, it seems it seems like an interesting place. People that come and go, but you have a bridge that allows them to go back and forth. Yeah, I'm not from around here, so I find this very interesting.
Well, like I said, a lot of people aren't from around here. So, but I don't think people just want to get across the bridge.
What's on the other
Hey,
side?
what on the other side? I mean, the other half of the town. I
It looks almost like a mirror image though. I mean, is it exactly the same?
mean, it's not exactly the same. It's just like the people over there, are the same as the people here. We just build houses the same way.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm just wondering whether I would have time to kind of look around. I mean, I didn't have a chance to really look um, at the bridge when I came in last night. So, um,
Well, yeah, we're locals. We don't gotta pay the toll because, and if you're working here, maybe you're a local too. Um, and he reaches into a box under the counter and pulls out this medallion on a leather string. Um, uh, Take this, and you won't have to pay.
oh, thank you. Is it all right? I mean, you probably will need help soon, by lunchtime.
Yeah, but like it'll take you, you know, barely an hour to go across and come back and look down and you know,
Okay,
you'll be back.
I will. I will. I'm uh, I'm just curious. I just want to take a look.
Mm.
Um, Thank you.
Um, so it's like a coin with a hole punched in it, where the leather is going through.
Mhm.
And like around the part of the coin that you can see is like this sunburst or this crown going all the way around. Um, and it's the same on both sides, I think. Um,
Okay.
and I think maybe if you look close enough, on the edge of the coin, there's like some script in there. It's worn, um, but it's there nonetheless.
Hmm. Can I read it?
Think if there's anyone around here who can read this, it's definitely you, right?
Right, right, right. Is it something that I
Um,
recognize? Let's put it that
yeah,
way.
yeah. I think you've got to, you spend some time like looking at it closely because, it's a bit worn and maybe it's a little bit difficult to decipher. But it looks like some kind of blessing that you might have read in a book
Hmm.
before. Um, Something maybe connected with the dead, like crossing over to the other side. Some like payment for safe passage to an afterlife in some religion or other.
It's weird. Hmm. Maybe like, she's thinking about it and like trying to recall from where this is because I mean, if it's so worn down that she can't see it, it's like it's recognizable, like the symbol was there in the book. And she's kind of like tracing it with her thumb as she holds the medallion. And she's trying to recall and trying to recall, but I don't think she remembers just yet where she's seen it.
Um, so yeah, if you want to cross over,
Yeah.
you can definitely do that. Um, I think there are I hesitate to call them soldiers, but maybe like a militia who
Hmm.
are just taking a toll from people as they cross over. Um, and for you and for other people wearing uh, the same token around their neck, you just get waved through.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that first half of the bridge is just going over this still water, though obviously the closer you get to the middle part, the the less still it seems because then you start to see it just go over this edge. And I think maybe you're like looking out over the bridge, you can see this giant pillar of stone just rising out of the depths, and that's the keep in the center of the bridge. Um, and the closer you get, the more impossible it seems. It's like this is just this pillar rising out of the depths. This just piece of earth that is not connected with anything else.
So is it rising out of the chasm?
Rising, yeah, rising out of the chasm.
It's like this whole sense of wonder about it. Just I mean, does it even look like how does it look like they can get in or anybody can get into it? If anybody can get into it.
Oh, so the bridge, like, so I guess the keep is really like this gatehouse, like you
Ah,
would see in a castle, right? And so the
right.
bridge just goes into that great doorway.
Right.
Um, so the keep is on top of this pillar,
Ah, okay.
and then you go through, and then like you have this other newer bridge going across to the other side. Um, and and obviously like the gatehouse you pass through is not the whole structure of the keep. Like there's floors above you,
Hmm.
and there's things going on there, I guess. But the travelers are just walking through,
Right.
and like any of the locals are just keep walking. But like there's a bit of I guess rubbernecking, right? So
Oh yeah,
people who
it's
have or maybe experienced travelers just keep walking, but the people who have not been across are like stopping when they
Yeah.
go out to the other edge and like they're looking and they don't want to look and they keep walking and they try to not look, but everyone has
Yeah.
a slightly different reaction to this
Oh,
abyss
sure.
that just opens up on this side. Um, and yeah, this chasm below, you can see now the river just falling off and this kind of mist just below. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's um, awe-inspiring, uh, terror-inducing,
Yeah.
um, vertigo triggering. I mean, it's
Hmm.
so many things going on here.
Oh man. I feel like I mean it's just so awesome but terrible. I feel like she's going to oh man. Hmm. I don't know if she would pray for guidance or anything like that. Hmm. Because I don't even know what kind of aid she would seek. You know, I'm just kind of like looking into this awesome thing. Um, yeah, I mean, like,
Do
you know,
we want
maybe,
to
hmm.
take a break? Uh,
Yeah, yeah, like, let me take a break and let me think about it because it's like, what? What do I do here? Oh my gosh.
okay,
Yeah. All
okay. So yeah, you're regarding the chasm. I wonder if there is a prayer or some other thing on your mind as you look into the depths.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe as she's looking at the chasm, she is also unconsciously, like, you know, feeling the medallion, you know, like tracing the pattern of the sunburst and then like also the words that are so faded it's hard to read, and then just kind of trying to recall in her mind, where have I seen this before? What have I seen this represent? Um, I think maybe, hold on. I think maybe like, you know, she's gonna, I don't know how this works, but I'm just gonna say it and then you can tell me. I think she's gonna call upon maybe the voice of the cave and kind of try to get some insight upon what she's seeing. Like, you know, what she's trying to remember, how this is connected. For she knows this. She recognizes this somehow. And then maybe she's trying to call upon the voice of the cave for this like magical knowledge or something. Yeah.
Okay. So, um,
So for that particular
so
move,
I
pray
guess
for
that's
guidance.
you're
Yeah.
answering the kind of God who's answering your prayers, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And you're wondering exactly what this means or exactly what the coin means, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think you see um you're standing here holding on to the railing, looking down, and you see the mist start to boil um underneath you. Uh, and it evaporates into steam, and then you can see the fire below, the fire of some kind of hell made manifest here in the world. And you can see some god below taking taking the life force or the souls, or maybe taking the eventual souls from all who cross over their realm. And I think when you, I think maybe when you're touching this coin around your neck, maybe the part of it that is actually most rubbed out is the kind of key to this. This is protection from whatever lies below that all the other people crossing don't have.
She kind of, her mouth just like starts opening. It's like she's kind of realizing this, and she kind of like, says, without even thinking about it, just out loud, she says, but does that mean that everyone that is without this protection is in danger? As she's seeing this and just kind of,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair question about the unclear omens or visions you
yeah,
get.
yeah.
Um,
Shoot.
uh, is this like in curiosity or despair? What do you think the kind of emotion coming out in Wall's voice when they say this is?
Just, it's like, can't really like center on it. It's like disbelief and just kind of, I don't know, like because I am like losing vocabulary. It's like it's basically a what the fuck feeling, of if they don't have this protection, then that means they're vulnerable and they will fall to this god or this demon or whatever is down there eventually, and they have no control over it. That just seems, and they don't know, and that's the worst part about it. I mean, like, she has access to this knowledge and she knows, but does anybody else? Travelers shouldn't be beholden to something they don't know about. It doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem fair. So, yeah, she's, she wishes she could figure out like where to ask. I mean, like try to get more information.
So remember, you still have this feel something out move that you
Mm-hmm.
have. So you
Right.
can you can always ask one of those questions now.
Okay.
Um, sorry, I guess say what you want clarity about and answer one, and I will answer the other.
Yeah. I mean, it's about the town. Yeah, about this chasm, this god that she saw. Yeah. Um, feels welcoming on the surface. Well, I mean, what feels dark and or unnerving when I peer deeper. I peer deeper and it sucks because again, it's this question, this thrumming question of what does that mean? If they don't have this protection, does that mean this god has ensnared their souls for later and nobody knows? I mean that doesn't seem right. I mean, is that what is going on around here? Is that what feels desperate? Is that what feels dark or off?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think maybe you feel some kind of divine hunger here. This it's almost like the fact that these people, and maybe the locals don't know either, but maybe this sense of betrayal that people who have, you know, paid to cross over but don't have this protection, that sense of betrayal makes them angry, and that kind of anger and injustice is exactly the kind of soul that this god wants to consume.
And they said that this chasm is new.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess as new as the Newbridge, right?
Yeah.
So, and I guess, when the breaking of the cradle began, maybe this rift was caused, I think if you ask a dozen people here, you might get 20 different answers. But,
Right.
the town was here before this chasm.
Okay.
Uh,
Wow. But I mean, huh. Recognize a god. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. Let's
yeah,
do
yeah.
this. Recognize a god. Let's figure out what this shithead is. Okay. When you want to recognize the signs or influence of a god or the cradle, sorry, roll 2d6, add 1 for each true statement. Okay. You're in or near their domain. Yes. Familiar with their gospel. I get again, it's like it's escaping me, but I mean like this is their shtick that they're, wanting to grab these souls. What does that mean if it'd be bad if you didn't know?
Um, it's a strange question.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just like, I
I,
just
I
realized
guess,
I'm just,
yeah, because of the overkill element of this move, I take
uh-huh.
it to mean like, are you in desperate trouble, like as you
Mm.
pondered this question, right?
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Because it's like if I didn't recognize the god, then I would be in more trouble, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Uh, I don't know about that. That's the only thing I'm kind of sticking on, so I'm not sure about that one.
mhm.
But
I mean, I guess if you didn't have this token, right,
yeah,
it would probably be a bad thing. But
yeah.
while you're protected with this token, maybe it's not quite so desperate as that.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're willing to let me roll with a +3, I'm okay with it.
Well, that's up to you. Remember, your overkill is, I guess, maybe tempering what you what you want to do. But yeah,
I've
you
never
can.
I've never let that stop me if when I've played Apocalypse Keys. So I
Okay.
mean, like, why would I stop now? Okay. So yeah, if you're willing, I'll roll with +3.
Yeah, roll a +3. Go ahead.
All right, let's see this. Let's see this pain in the ass. Oh. 6 + 3 + 3 is a 12. Oh no.
Of course it is.
Of course it is,
Yeah, yeah.
cause I tempt.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I think the memory comes back, and it's maybe as you stare at the sigil on the coin, and you now it comes back that this is like the crown of fire that the devil has uh wears. Um,
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe that comes out of her mouth even before like she
yeah,
realizes she's
yeah.
saying it. It's like, oh no, oh no.
Um, and I like that this random picture seems to be also carrying this like book of fire. Uh, I don't know what that means. Is that the book where all the doomed souls,
Maybe,
yeah, are
maybe.
inscribed? Yeah.
Sure, sure. Okay, on an overkill, you realize your divinity is actively trespassing against them right now, and the GM will say how.
Yeah.
Okay, how much trouble
Oh
am I
no.
in?
So I think there's a rumble from below.
Oh no.
Um, and I think you can kind of see slowly sort of dust start to come off the pillar holding the gatehouse up. And it's kind of shaking, and you kind of see it before it happens. There's like a crack runs like not all the way up, but some of the way up. Um, and then I think you see that thing from your vision where the mist just boils off. But instead of it just being a vision, obviously that just means the super hot air, this vapor is rising. And I think then the screams begin. Like people are, whatever side of the bridge they're closest, whatever end of the bridge they're closest to, they're running towards.
Right.
Um, and this kind of superheated vapor just passes through the bridge, and again you feel the whole thing rock. And from below you see these eyes of fire stare at you, and they speak to you, but not just in your head. It's like this booming, crackling, fiery voice that says, they are not of this town. That token does not belong to them.
And I think because, she she gets fearful for a second, but then also remembers what she saw, and then she yells out, and it's like, and those souls aren't yours either.
Hey,
Like she's staring out in the distance, but she sees like the eyes.
yeah.
She's trying to stare
Um,
into the eyes.
well, I think you're challenging someone dangerous, right?
Yes, sure,
Uh,
absolutely.
and and primarily in front of an audience, right? I think that's a really key part of the move,
Yep.
is that you are calling out this thing, this being, this god in front of the people who are under their control or power or fated to be.
Yeah.
Um, so, when you challenge someone dangerous in front of an audience, say what foolish or risky action you hope they'd take. What do you think?
Oh boy. Hoping that they will, you know, burst out of the chasm and I guess face her so she knows what she's like she knows what she's dealing with, but I mean really like a physical corporeal manifestation of this
Mhm.
thing that she can look right into the thing and defy them.
Yeah.
Um yeah. I had one for each true statement. They care about your opinion. I don't know about that. They think they're stronger than you. That's probably true. And the crowd is on your side. I don't know about that because they don't know what the hell she's talking about. Um, so
Um, so they care about your opinion. I guess I'll leave it up to you, but I guess the opening might be that if they do not challenge what you've said,
mhm,
then maybe the the scam is done, right?
yeah.
Um, what do you think?
I think maybe, as she's challenging them, maybe she's like saying stuff like it's like, do they know God of Lies? Do they know, like, if they don't have one of these, that they're not protected, that they go to you and only you at the end of their days and all this kind of stuff. And she's starting to get furious because,
Yeah,
from what she's seen and what she knows, she's it's like that's not fair, that's not right. So she's going to, yeah, she's
yeah.
yeah. So I mean, at the very
And
least, I think we've got two plus two. I don't know about the last one.
the crowd is on your side. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is maybe a little bit confused, right? Like,
Hmm.
I'm not sure like even the locals, I'm not sure anyone really knows what's down there. Maybe there are some who do,
Hmm.
and maybe this is kind of blind faith. Hey, this is the coin you get to escape the toll, right?
Right.
Um,
Not realizing what the toll actually means.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we say plus two?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm doing great. 5 plus 4 plus 2.
Okay, another overkill,
Overkill. Oh,
You push too far, your target reacts instantly and dangerously. Yeah, so I
yeah.
think you you yell down your invective
Yes.
into the fiery abyss.
Hmm.
And that eye of fire is that getting bigger? You know, I think, almost before the breath is out of your body, you can see this angel of fire leap up and onto the bridge. And, these wings, feathers, leathered, with a hint of flame coming out of them. This corona, this flaming corona around their head. This spear, um, wickedly sharp, and the bridge groans under its weight. Um, the wood chars under its cloven hooves, and it regards you. And when it addresses you, it just points the spear at you. You
Oh,
will
you're frozen.
die now, and I will consume your soul.
I am under your under the protection. This guarantees my protection. But do they know? Do they all know? And then she's gesturing to everybody on like either side of the bridge. If they don't have this, then they succumb to you. You must have been so full of yourself for all this time since you got here, lying to these people, thinking that they wouldn't find you out. And then she will kind of like raise her hands, like, keeping the medallion close. Every
And
time you yeah, like
oh, go ahead.
she'll just go on and like just be like, every time you cross and you don't have one of these, your toll is paying with your soul. He will claim you when you're done.
And I think this god swings this spear at you, and you can feel it's almost like the metal is molten as it passes by you. Like close enough to singe the hair on your head, close enough to make your blood like almost start to boil. And I think the spear like cuts through the leather, even if you're holding the coin, so it's no longer
Hmm.
attached to your neck.
Right.
That coin is not rightfully yours, mortal, and you are not under its protection.
And their souls are not rightfully yours either, liar, cheat.
That may be so, but they are rightfully mine when they die. And
I think. Hold on. I'm just trying to think of like how I want to do this because uh, one, I'm not sure of how to call upon their downfall. Um,
yeah, I
and
mean, so their downfall is hubris. And I
mhm,
think, I mean, they are here standing on the bridge above their domain,
yeah,
telling you why you have cheated them
hmm,
and not really caring about your threats in this moment. They're so consumed by the way you call them out, right? And they
hmm,
are going to slay you and take your soul.
right,
And I think that is hubristic, right? They are saying, I'm going to deal with this problem regardless of what everyone else is hearing, right?
right.
So,
Okay.
um, yeah. So I think, and sorry, obviously, like given that you have recognized the god, right?
Hmm.
I think you are aware of their role, um their way of being in this world.
Okay.
Um,
And they are pretty, I would say they're pretty much in their true form, trying to face me like this. Goddamn.
yeah,
They're like,
well,
yeah,
you call out a god and you get what
calling
you
them
ask
out.
for.
Damn straight. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, she's just so full of outrage. That's it. Outrage. Outraged. And she's going to, I don't know if I could just do this.
Kill a god?
Kill
Is
a
that what you're going to
god.
say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
they're here, true form, and then that's like, maybe she even like kind of calls it out. It's like, if it's not me, it's going to be someone else, maybe another god that will take you down in your pride, and just kind of spit like, her
hmm.
her anger
Do-
at this thing.
yeah.
It's like
Do
I
you
defy
think
you. Yeah, yeah.
do you think that there is something personal about this outrage? Or is it all on behalf of these other people, these innocents? Like does this injustice echo something that has happened to Wall previously?
Just the sense of control, like not not knowing the full truth, and this sense of like it is the way it is because I say so. And like I feel like that's part of her existence, right? I mean, like I don't even think she knows, how she ended up at the cloister. And just this sense of control of like, well, we're telling you how this is. And, you have to follow by our rules. And you have to do these particular things because I am above you. And that is something that she cannot abide by. She did it for a good part of her current existence, but now that she's away, it's like it's partly personal because of hearing somebody say that they are above them all. I mean, granted, like gods and stuff like that, but she doesn't think of it that way.
Mhm.
She thinks of somebody like trying to get away from getting away with something regardless of their position, because they think they can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she doesn't like it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
maybe she's gonna, like, even in the face of, like, he's already like cut off the leather thong, and she's just got the medallion in her hand, and I think it's in the same hand as her the etchings, like the what the voice of the cave gave her, which is why
hmm,
she's like remembered some of this lore. I think maybe, she still clutches the medallion, but then she's like taking her walking stick in both hands, and then just um yeah, I mean, maybe she's going to chart, like, do what she always does, right? I mean, like, maybe she's going to like, like, try to dodge the big sword lance thing that the devil's got, and then just try to charge with her rowan staff, right? You know,
yeah.
she'll fight, just, and if he cuts her down, he cuts her down, but she's gonna give it a shot for sure.
Um, you think, so when you confront a god in their true form, tick, and exploit their downfall to kill them, do you think, like, obviously, the easy answer here is, like, you're but a mortal with a
Hmm.
wooden staff. How can you
Yeah,
possibly harm them?
exactly.
So, do you think there's some kind of like showboating that the devil does that allows you to strike a fatal blow?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I mean, okay, so in terms of looking at their picture, right? It's like they've got like like the wings, and they've got like almost like this armor or something like that they have, like, very, very impressive looking. But I feel like, he's making a lot of sweeping gestures with this spear thing that he's got. But I mean, like, I think underneath that, I mean, especially if he's looking very massive, right? I think, as he's making these steps or whatever, and swinging this spear, it's like she can see almost that there's a rhythm to it, and she can get past it, and then see that there's a gap between, like, the armor and, like, I don't know, like, whatever footwear they've got or something like that. There's kind of like something that looks soft from her vantage point, that she can, like,
Yeah,
kind of shove the yeah, shove the staff into. Or maybe, like, when he's taking his sweeps, it's like, she can see the gap in the armor, you know. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So you should roll some dice.
Yes, I should.
Describe how you slay them and roll 2d6.
Yeah, I think she's focusing. I mean, like, she's spitting out these words, but also watching what they do, and then again sees this gap, because then they're just like making these grand gestures of, like, "Ha! I am a warrior. I can do this," and it's like, I'm going to slay you where you stand, little mortal, blah blah blah. But she's concentrating on what she's focusing on, which is the soft side.
Hmm.
That is a 5 plus a 6, 11.
Okay.
Strong hit.
So their death transforms, liberates, or shields an aspect of the cradle. Describe what and how.
Yeah, so I think she will. He's taking the big swings, and again, she's just very focused on, like, hitting that soft spot, because he's leaving it out in the open. He doesn't think she's going to affect him in whatsoever, and I think she's like, she does, like, the dodge, does maybe like a slide or something like that to try to avoid the spear thing, and she's able to shove the she's able to shove the staff into that soft spot, and I think, as this staff goes into the devil, I think maybe, like, there's the fiery eyes behind I guess the helmet or something like that, just widen, and like she can see the flames flicker and fade, almost as if like their flame is going out because she, instead of stoking the fire, she covered it up. And they start to dim, and then it's just a shock of how, right? That's like the grumbling, booming word that like that's just kind of shuddering in the wind. It's like how, and maybe. Oh, do I make this miserable, or do you make this miserable? I don't know.
I mean, I'm intrigued to make it miserable, but I think you can add a little bit of misery yourself.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like the crack. Um, I think the crack like increases, and then the keep shudders, and like I think things start to break off and start to crumble as I don't know how. Um, does the devil dissipate? Does he break away? Does he fall like like kind of like uh, over the side of the bridge back into the chasm?
Um, I mean, I think it's got to be more definitive than that, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
maybe when this when the flame starts to kind of dampen, there's almost like this pushback reaction, but like
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like an explosion where it's trying to achieve something, like achieve some kind of chain reaction or um, a reaction mass, if you will. And I think the fire starts to bleed out of the gaps. Um, and maybe the mist has started to grow up again and flutters out and dims. And I think it's obvious to everyone that it's not like a body has fallen into the depths and maybe it's still there. It's very much gone. But I think maybe there's a knock-on effect, like all of those lanterns, you
Mm-hmm.
know, flutter and die as the flame of the devil starts to dissipate as well. And I think maybe people won't notice today, but they'll notice tonight. Um, some of its power was keeping this town lit.
I feel like at that point, I feel like she's not gonna let that go necessarily. I mean, like, it's a beautiful it's a beautiful town, so it shouldn't die. It should be something that changes in this world. I out of the out of the destruction should come some kind of change. And maybe this is where she will, I mean, if the bridge hasn't broken apart, maybe like, this is like, just on instinct, maybe she makes sings a song in sorrow for the people that have lost their souls, thus far, as almost like acknowledging what happened to them even though they didn't know, and I don't know, giving some sort of relief back. Yeah, I feel like maybe she wants to seal the, again, this is big, so you can tell me if this is possible, whatever. maybe maybe in doing this, maybe she's going to, sing a song for these poor souls, but it's a song that kind of tamps down the damage. It's something that will seal cracks as best as it can, and maybe it's like it's not fully realized, right? Like maybe she's thinking of the chasm closing. So this way, in case the devil's not completely gone, then it's like
Mhm.
he cannot access uh, this gateway. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
She's trying to close a gateway. Yeah,
So, when you
unleashed your
unleash,
divinity. Yeah,
yeah, um, so I think it's possible with a single brilliant feat, but with one side effect of your choosing. It is brief, it is obvious, or it is unstable.
it is definitely obvious.
So, like everyone, whose eyes are on this, see you repair this bridge with your song,
Yeah,
right?
it's it's something where it's like it's not flames. It's like light. It's like light that's a force from sound, and the sound carries, and the sound is moving from her lips, from her being, and just going down to the chasm and sealing up the cracks, like maybe even the cracks on the bridge first, but then it's
Hmm.
kind of like bleeding into the chasm itself, like
Yeah,
down under, and yeah, closing it. So
yeah.
the shutters
You,
on the bridge are not from being broken, but being healed.
mhm.
Yeah,
You you think there's something lingering here of that divine power, like the the sound of the river, the sound of the waterfall, or the sound of the creaking bridge now are like your song. There's like some harmonic element to it now that
yeah,
never existed before. Instead of that kind of deep rumble of crackling flame, now there's
hmm,
these kind of this harmony.
yeah. I think the healed cracks have some sort of strange energy quality to them, and with wind or breath going through them, it's like it's like wind chimes of a sort, right? I mean, like maybe they're hearing like a harmonic remnant of the melody that she sang. And that's what happens when you go on certain parts of the bridge. Like you'll hear this tune or this melody drifting into the wind. There's a like out of character. It's like there's a bridge in Japan somewhere where if you clap at a certain point, it's like you hear like like the echoes of the clap or what have you, and it just kind of rumbles like a dragon, supposedly. So I mean, like something like that, but a lot more benign.
Okay.
And she will
Um,
fall. She will completely fall where she stood. Maybe she leans on the staff. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she goes completely unconscious because damn.
okay. I mean, that sounds like a good place to close today.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's a lot. Holy crap.
So yeah, let's stop the recording and do our debrief.